कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
हे पुरुषोत्तम पावनकारी
हे पुरुषोत्तम पावनकारी
कृष्ण कन्हैया कुंज बिहारी
कृष्ण कन्हैया कुंज बिहारी
हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण राधा के तुम मुकुंद मुरारी
राधा के तुम मुकुंद मुरारी
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मन में गुंजन
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मन में गुंजन
केशव माधव चरण में वंदन
केशव माधव चरण में वंदन
गोपाल 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 गोवर्धन धारी
गोपाला गोवर्धन धारी
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
हे पुरुषोत्तम पावनकारी
हे पुरुषोत्तम पावनकारी
कृष्ण कन्हैया कुंज बिहारी
कृष्ण कन्हैया कुंज बिहारी
हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण हे कृष्ण राधा के तुम मुकुंद मुरारी
राधा के तुम मुकुंद मुरारी
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम बोलो श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मन में गुंजन
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मन में गुंजन
केशव माधव चरण में वंदन
केशव माधव चरण में वंदन
गोपाल 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 गोवर्धन धारी
गोपाला गोवर्धन धारी
श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम
वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। सद्गुरु महाराज की जय। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरा। गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। Like in all our daily activities, whether religious or secular, we seek the blessings of Bhagavan Ganesha first. He's Pratham Puja. He removes the obstacles and the hindrances from the paths of everyone, every devotee who seeks his blessings first. जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर वदन करहु अनुग्रह सो बुद्धिराशि शुभ गुण सदन सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम गंगणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। ओम गंगणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः। अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया। गणपति भगवान की जय। this time we pray to Mahalakshmi like we do every Sunday morning. Lakshmi Karota Kalyanam, O Divine Mother, please shower upon us your divine blessings, Kalyan. Arogyam Sukha Sambadam. The light of Mahalakshmi removes rog, Arogyam, and brings Sukha Sambadam, happiness and peace into our lives. Mama Shatrum Vinashaya. If we were to follow the rules, if we were to follow the prescription of Mahalakshmi in order for us to attain that happiness, then Mama Shatru Vinashaya. We need to destroy all our internal enemies, Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobha, Ahamkar. When we do so, then Deepa Jyotir Namostate, that divine light, that light that destroys ignorance at every level and brings spiritual and material brightness to our lives, will shine brilliantly and always. He Mahalakshmi Ma, 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 He Mahalakshmi Ma. Namastestu Mahamaya Sri Pite Surpujite Shankha Chakra Gadahaste Mahalakshmi Namostute Svetambar Dhare Devi Nanalankar Bhushite Jagat Sthite Jagan Mata Mahalakshmi Namostute Lakshmi Karotu Kalyanam Arogyam Sukha Sampadam Mama Shatrum Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute He Mahalakshmi Ma, He Mahalakshmi Ma, He Mahalakshmi Ma, He Mahalakshmi Ma, He Mahalakshmi Ma. प्रेम से बोलो महालक्ष्मी माता की जय. At this time we give prayers to Hanumanji. Hanumanji is Dukkha Bhanjan. He destroys dukkha, unhappiness, anything that is untoward, anything that can disrupt the devotee from his or her path of bhakti in her daily duties, his or her daily duties. Dukkha Bhanjan. He's Maruti Nandan. He's Pavan Sut, the son of Pavan Dev. Maruti. We ask him, O Bhagwan, sun lo meri pukar, answer to our sincere call. Barambar, every time we come to you with sincerity, O Hanumanji, like you responded to every call of Sri Ram, in the same way, respond to our call. हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। प्रेम से बोलो महावीर स्वामी की जय। Like we usually do, before we do a small presentation from the scriptures, we chant the name of Bhagavan, Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Radha Rani. So please group your voices together. The lyrics should be on the screen. The Radhe Radhe Radhe. वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे। जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे। जय राधे राधे राधे, राधे राधे,
जय 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 श्री राधे,
जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
जय राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे,
राधे कृपामयी राधे, दयामयी राधे,
कृपामयी राधे, दयामयी राधे,
ओ तू मेरी राधे, मैं तेरी राधे,
तू मेरी राधे, मैं तेरी राधे,
ओ कृपामयी राधे, दयामयी राधे,
कृपामयी राधे, दयामयी राधे,
ओ तू मेरी राधे, मैं तेरी राधे,
मेरी राधे, मैं तेरी राधे,
ओ जय श्री राधे राधे, जय राधे जय राधे राधे,
जय राधे श्री राधे, जय राधे श्री राधे राधे,
ओ जय श्री राधे राधे, जय राधे जय राधे राधे,
जय राधे श्री राधे, जय राधे जय राधे राधे,
राधे 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 राधे,
राधे 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 राधे,
ओ राधे 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 राधे,
राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे, राजेश्वरी राधा रानी की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पर अनन्यैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते मां ध्यायन्त उपासते ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Devotees of Bhagavan, my reverence to all the Pandits that are on, joining us in satsang this morning. Dear souls, if you can remember the last few weeks, for those of you who joined us, you remember that we had a few topics going, and we talked about karma a few weeks ago. And we said in karma that there are aspects of your karma that are coming over from a previous life. It's called Purva Janma Kritam Karma Taradaivam Mitikatyate. And then a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how one of the things that is predetermined amongst the few things that constitute your, what is called things that are destined, the elements of destiny that are in our lives, one of such is our lifespan. And we said that too has come. And last week we focused on why is it that a human being is tam shatasharadai harami, that a man is born to live 100 years, and why our lifespan is cut short. And so we discussed all of those, and then last week, the last pravachan we did, Radha, we did in reincarnation. We used the scriptures, we used scientific studies, we used logic to explain and examine why reincarnation is not only logical, but is proven by the scriptures, and studies are done by so many universities. So having remembered all of that, then by now, if we're following, then we'd ask ourselves the question. The question will be, so what is it we can do if reincarnation is true, and we've looked, into the scriptures and we've seen that it is, and if in these human lives that we have, things are not going well, for example, what's happening right now, for no fault of our own, those of us who are listening, we're so scared and uncertain because of this pandemic that has come through, and we don't know where it came from. And all we're trying to do is take precautions and ensure that we do all the right things, and hope that we're not in a position where this thing is transmissible to us from anyone or any source. But some other people who live in life today they face so many other disasters. Maybe this is the first for us, it's a pandemic. Right in our lifespan, in the last few years, in this country and so many other countries in the world, and there's been a 9/11, and there's been tsunamis, and there's been shootings in schools and movie theaters, and some people right in this country we live today may have gone through all of those just in one lifetime, just in the span of a few years. And so for these people, life is a tremendous test. It's a disaster, some people would put it. That how many things can we tolerate in one life? That is why the ancient rishis say that this human life is a suffering. While it is an opportunity, we suffer in this lifetime because of all these complexities and calamities and disasters. And so some of us may not agree because there are others who lead a very happy life. But some people are finding it very difficult. To the point where some may say, I know enough people who would have said that I really don't want to be born into this world again. I prefer to, if I'm able to, I prefer to join God in His abode and live happily ever after, where there's no pain and there's no uncertainty, there are no pandemics, there's only love, there's only happiness and the company of God. So this verse that we chanted was from chapter 12, verse 6 and 7 of Bhagavad Gita. For those of us who would like to say that, look, I'd like to join Bhagavan in his abode after this life, then that is possible. And for those of us who don't even know that that is possible, then it is saying recipe. And the recipe is that those who dedicate all their actions to me, regarding me as the supreme goal, worshipping me and meditating on me, those people who have exclusive devotion, what would happen? He's telling Arjun, Mrityu Sansara Sagarat, the verse 7 says in chapter 12, that I will deliver these people, these devotees of mine, from the ocean of birth and death. Why? Because their consciousness is united with me. Just mind these few words. Their consciousness is united with me, and for that reason, they will come to me. So we understand that as people who are aspirants, but then today we also have the young children. The young children in this country, especially in this country or North America, or maybe everywhere by now, the young man or the young woman says that, why should I have to make changes to secure that, in my perception, is an unknown? Many people say this, a past life is an unknown, a future life is an unknown. I'm happy the way I am. Why do I have to make changes to ensure that I fall within the category of what is described by Bhagavan to qualify us for a person whose consciousness is united with God? Because the young people today, they don't want to do what we're doing, especially for us West Indians. The way we worship, Indians as well, but generally the way we worship, young people are mostly hesitant to worship like us. So we have to find a way, the child can come to the parent and say that I don't want to do all these things you're doing. I'm willing to be a Hindu, I'm willing to be, whatever religion you belong to, but I want to find an easier way. So they say that I know and care only about this life. A child is saying to you. Well, first of all, the scripture can disprove that, because Nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamataha param. We used this verse a few weeks ago, chapter 2 rather, in verse 12 of Bhagavad Gita says that Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, not at any time in the future shall we or any of us cease to exist. So that proves that in the future, there is a future. There is a future for us, and we'll exist again in the future. That very verse says, Natevaham jatu nasam. That Arjuna, there was never a time when I did not exist. So just in case we didn't listen last week and we were talking about the last life, then Bhagavad Gita says there was a last life as well. So the young person says that, Mom or Dad, why not just worship the way you worship now? Because Bhagavad Gita is saying that you should give the mind to me, you have to do all these things. If you're devoted to me, then your consciousness will be united with me. And so for those of us who are worshiping, who grew up with this conditioning and worshiping the way we worship, the question crops up in our mind then, why can't we just worship the way we have been doing? Whether it's bhakti or not. That look, it's worship and it's God's work. This will be your argument. Because not only that bhakti is necessary, the answer to that will be that bhakti is necessary, but it's our best shot, rather, for the lack of a better term, for a win-win situation, a win-win result. And the reason why I said that is, and this is a Ramayana quote that helps us to understand why we can use such a statement as it's a win-win situation, it's actually our best shot. Ramayana tells us, Krita Yoga Sab Jogi Vigyani Kari Hari Dhyan Tarahi Bhav Prani. So, Krita Yoga Sab Jogi Vigyani. That Satyug, in the first age, everyone was possessed of mystic powers. Everyone was wise. And so because they had the necessary knowledge, appropriate knowledge as to how to attain God, then they sat quietly and they meditated upon God's actions and His leelas and all the things that the scripture said, and they were able, because they were yogi and vigyani. So they did dhyan, what literally translates to being meditation, and they were able to attain God. But it goes on to say that was Satyug, and then the second one is Treta Bibidha Jagya Nar Karhi Prabhuhi Samarpahi Karma Bhavatarhi. In Treta Yuga, this is the second age, after Satyug, that men perform sacrifice. What is sacrifice? Treta Bibidha Jagya Nar Karhi. Jagya means yagya, that we perform. You know, today yagya has a slightly different understanding. Technically, a yagya is when we do havan, right? We make a huge havan kun, and we do constant, pouring into the fire, ahuti, what we call havan, pouring ingredients and ghee into the fire. That is yagya, right? The rest of it is bhagavata. This is when we do pravachan, we examine the scriptures, we call it vyas, etc. But the yagya is when we pour oblations into the fire. So in Treta Yuga, Jagya Nar Karahi, men attain God by doing yagya. In Dwapar Yuga, in the third age, Dwapar Kari Raghupati Par Puja Nar Bhavatarhi Upayana Duja. In the third age, people also attain God, but how did they do that? They did that by Raghupati Pada Puja. They did puja. You know, puja we do today? Men perform puja at the feet, Raghupati Pad, at the feet of Bhagwan, and they were able to attain God. So those were the recipes that are given or that were prevalent in those days when men attained God and how they attained God. Interestingly, however, in this age that we lived in, Kali Yuga, which started just more than 5,000 years ago when Bhagavan Sri Krishna left the world, this age is called Kali Yuga. And in Uttarakhand of Ramcharitmanas, there's a beautiful example as to what do we do as human beings? What is the recipe for us to attain God? We examine the words of Tulsidasi and see what is it that we are supposed to do to attain God. talked about Satyug, we talked about Dwapar, we talked about Treta, and this Chaupai tells us Kali Yuga Keval Hari Gunagana. How do we attain God, or His grace, or His blessings, eternal blessings in Kali Yuga? Keval means only. So Kali Yuga Keval is very simple. Hari Gunagana. By chanting lovingly the names of God. Kali Yuga Keval Hari Gunagana. Why chanting? Because the idea, if we were listening, if you remember the verse from the beginning, the idea is to remember God, to offer our sincerity through mental worship, through our mind. So, Hari Gunagana, if we just chant the name, just chant the name, just say God's names and we'll be okay. We'll attain His abode. The science is that when you call upon someone, if you're calling on your son, your child, your parents, whoever it is, what is the first mental process upon calling on someone? First, a person has to think of that person, right? We don't just scream out the name. If we want to call our son, we think that we need our son for whatever reason, or your daughter, or whoever it is. And then the second motion will be, now you're adding another sense to it, the sense of, speaking, a voice, and so the action is completed. In the same way, when we chant God's name, we'll remember Bhagavan. When we say Ram, we'll remember Ram. So in the age of Kali Yuga, men can only attain God by remembering and by devotion to His name, devotion to His feet. And devotion to His feet can be done by uttering with sincerity His divine names. So, the child can come and say, okay, so I'm willing to give this a shot. Or anyone in Kali Yuga, if we want to attain eternal blessings. So the question will be, how can I do this? And if I do, how can I benefit from this in this life? I am not too interested in about the other life. We have a pandemic going on now. I need to feel secured and outside of all the things I'm doing. So how can I benefit from this in this life? And if I do not, what happens? If I don't take this recipe and practice it, what happens? So the first question is, how can I benefit? Here's the answer from Bhagavad Gita. Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityayuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Verse 22, chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna says, there are those who always think of me, Arjun, and they engage their mind in exclusive devotion to me. So this is what we're talking about, merging the consciousness in God's remembrance. That purifies the consciousness, rather. So, teshang nitya bhuktanang yogakshemam bhahamyaham. Sri Krishna says, yogakshemam, that to them, to those devotees whose minds are always absorbed in me, I provide what they don't have, and I protect what they already possess. So the question is, how can I benefit? That is how you can benefit. Just by doing bhakti. Remember, our topic is bhakti, mental worship. A way that the young person in this country, or any other country who's not interested in worshiping the way we worship, with our conditioning. It is not unfair to say that the way we worship can be complicated if it is not explained properly. And so Bhagavan says, if you do bhakti, just mental engagement with me, I will protect what you have and I will provide what you don't have. So the second question the child may ask is that if I don't follow this and just continue doing what I have been doing, the way I've been doing it, then what happens? Look, I do good things. I do a lot of selfless work. When I have time, I go to my altar, etc. If we do that without engaging the mind in God, then as we say in the world, in the business world, we say you're leaving money on the table. You know, you do a transaction, you didn't complete it properly, and so you were cheated of some money. You weren't told, nor did you find out, and you left some money on the table. What I mean by that is that you might be performing dharmic activities now, but you're not maximizing or making yourself available to the spiritual, meaning the divine benefits and rewards that are available and that are inherent in those activities. That's why I said in the beginning, you're leaving money on the table. You've done the work. Why not maximize on its benefits? So Bhagavad Puran helps us to understand what is that money left on the table we're talking about. And it says, Dharma satyarayo peto vidyava tapasanvita madbhaktya petaman manam nasamyak prapunati. This is Bhagavad Mahapuran, Canto 11, chapter 14, verse 22 of Bhagavad Mahapuran tells us, this is the explanation, that neither religious activity is endowed with honesty and mercy, nor knowledge obtained with great penance can completely purify one's consciousness. However, it says here, these things cannot purify one's consciousness if they're bereft of the mindset of it being done as loving service to God. This is Bhagavad Mahapuran. So listen objectively. There are things that you may disagree with, that's fine, but these are coming from the scriptures, and like we always say, this is information. So listen to the information. This can make spirituality a whole lot simpler, not only for our children that we're trying to keep them engrossed in spirituality, but it can help us too, because we'll be in a position to differentiate as to, what is the correct mindset to do our worship. Remember, Maya Chetasam. This is our topic. This is what we're talking about, right? That their consciousness is united with me. This is what Bhagavan says in the beginning when we quoted from verse 7 of chapter 12. So your consciousness has to be united with God. So, does that mean that there's no benefit if we make offerings without a pure mind, for example, without our mind being engaged in God? Does that mean we get no benefits for what we do? Well, the answer for that is tricky. The answer is that you will get benefits, but your benefits will be short-term. They'll be material. Because the law of, not only God's law, cause and effect, we talked about that last week, the scientific law, cause and effect. But we all know that whatever is done in God's name, whether it's a word or an action, nothing is unheard or unseen from God. So we will benefit, but we're not getting long-term benefits, divine benefits, those that will enable us to attain happiness here and to cease the sansar, the coming and going in this life. So we mentioned that you have to make these offerings with a pure heart. This is what, according to our mind, this is how it is explained.
निर्मल मन जन सो मोहि पाया
कपत चल चिदन भावा जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम निर्मल मन जन सो मोहि पावा मोह कपत चल chidra na bhava. Bhagavan says here, Nirmala man. Sri Ram was telling Sugriv when Vibhishan was coming, and all Sugriv saw was the brother of a demon, Ravan. Bhagavan Ram said to Sugriv, let him come. The only thing that I recognize, Sugriv, Sri Ram is saying, Nirmala man jana so mohi pava. That man who has a pure heart. It doesn't matter what family he came from, what side of the ocean he lives, what language he speaks, or any of those pairs of opposites, intelligent or not, rich or poor. We can go on naming the pairs. Bhagavan says that none of those matter to him. The only thing that matters to me, Sugriv, is Nirmala man. A person of pure heart will definitely be able to be in my company. Across all religions, all cultures, probably the next most applicable one to us will know that the Bible says that as well. Blessed are the pure in heart, for he shall see God. Ramayana says this, and it says Nirmala manajan. Anyone who has a pure heart will be able to attain me, whether you're the brother of Rakshas or not. So, the question here is the third question. We mentioned 3 questions in the beginning. So, what are the changes I have to make? The child can ask the parent that. Okay, I want to be spiritual, but what are the changes do I have to make? How and when and at what cost to my material progress, the adult might ask, in order for me to do this and do it successfully. That look, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do, all the sadhana in the morning. I'm very busy. The answer to that will be, this needs no time management at all. Interesting, right? Isn't it? It doesn't need any time management, meaning we don't have to spend time to do all these different things. The answer is yes. What it needs is mind management. We need to manage the mind. What does that mean? Mind management. Bhagavad Mahapuran has a beautiful verse that helps us to understand what mind management means. Meaning, how do we use the mind to do this worship while we're doing everything else? This is really the best case scenario for a young child, someone who's not interested in religiosity but want to be spiritual and progress their spirituality. Bhagavad Puran helps us to understand.
मुकुंद जय नंद लाला कृष्ण कन्हैया जय गोपाला बाल मुकुंद कृष्ण कन्हैया जय गोपाला जय गोपाला जय गोपाला कृष्ण कन्हैया जय गोपाला जय गोपाला जय गोपाला कृष्ण कन्हैया जय गोपाला ओ बाल मुकुंद जय नंद लाला कृष्ण कन्हैया जय गोपाला बाल मुकुंद जय नंद लाला मनोमयी मणिमयी प्रतिमाष्टा विदा स्मृता शैली दारुमयी लौहि लेप्या च सैकति मनोमयी मणिमयी प्रतिमाष्टा विदा स्मृता प्रतिमाष्टा विदा स्मृता बालमुकुंद Jai Nanda Lala, Krishna Kanhaiya, Jai Gopala, Bala Mukunda, Jai Nanda Lala, Krishna Kanhaiya, Jai Gopala, Krishna Kanhaiya, Jai Gopala, Krishna Kanhaiya, Jai Gopal. So how can we worship? How can we worship even, and there's no discouragement, please listen carefully. This is not a discouragement to do what we do. Whatever we do would add. Whatever physical we do would add to our repertoire of activities that merit blessing, right? However, Bhagavad Mahapuran here says, this is Canto 11, verse 27, chapter 8 of Bhagavad Mahapuran, that there are 8 types of murtis that we have in Hinduism. Not 8 gods, 8 ways we can shape the form of God. Whether our preferred form of God is Shivaji, Mahalakshmi, Sri Krishna, Ram, Hanumanji, whichever. But there in 8 ways we can create this murti. So the first one, Shaili Dadumai Lauhi Lepya Lekhya Chasaikati. Shaili. That is, murti can be made out of stone. We know that. Dadumai, wood. You can make a murti out of wood. We also know that. Lauhi, we can make our murti out of metal. Lekhya, a murti can be made out of paint. You know paint, like we paint a picture on a piece of paper or canvas or something. Lepya, we can make murti out of a paste. We make a paste, like we take mud and make it into a paste, or even the sandalwood murtis, they grind the sandalwood, make it into a dust, and make it into a paste so that it can have a definition. Or sometimes they carve it as well. But a murti can be made out of some sort of paste. Saikati, murti can be made out of sand. You can take sand, and cement, etc. This one is different. Remember, the first one was stone, like as in marble stone. Then we can also take sand and cement and make a murti. We can also make a murti according to Bhagavad Mahapuran. This is one of the 8. Manomai. Manomai means a murti that is conceived in the mind. Man means mind. Manimai. There's one other way that we can make murtis. Mani means, jewelry. Some people, depending on your affordability, you can make a murti with gold or with silver or whatever it is, right? Some jewelry. So those are the 8 forms, the 8 ways that we can make a murti. Now there are 6 saints, the scriptures, and anyone who has attained God, whether they're a 6 saint or a Jnani saint, you ask a yogi or a Swami who has elevated themselves, and they'll tell you that I don't need a murti to pray. I can pray any way I want. But those are not the only ways we can make. We can make a murti in the mind, but those are not the only forms. Remember, Svetaswara Upanishad helps us to understand further of the forms of God that we can see and imagine and create a relationship with. Tam Sri, Tam Pumanasi, Tam Kumar Utava Kumari, Tam Jirno Nadandena Vahanchasi, Tam Jato Bhavasi, Shishvato Mukha. Here's what is interesting. Tam Stri. This is Yajurved. Svetaswara Upanishad, 4th chapter, 3rd verse. Svetaswara Upanishad says that Tam Sri, God, is a woman, or can be a woman. Tam Puman, that God can be a man. Tam Kumar, God can be a young man, a boy. Utava Kumari, God can be a young girl. But here's the interesting one. Tam jirnona dandena vanchasi. God can also be an old man who walks with a stick. This covers all the different ways that we can see God. This is Ved. This is not my opinion. So for those people, the older folks, they want some kind of companion, right? They want to see God as a friend. So the older gentleman or woman, who would he see as a friend? Someone of his age.
So he'll probably have an older person as his friend, his closest friend, which will be God. Because remember a few weeks ago, there are a few relationships that we can cultivate in order to skyrocket our devotion. We can do Sakya Bhav, seeing God as a friend, or Dasya Bhav, as a master and a servant, God being the master, Vatsalya Bhav, as mother and child, and Madhurya Bhav, lover and beloved. These are relationships that we can create with God, or should create with God, if we want to get closer to Bhagavan. Remember in the beginning, a few minutes ago, we said that if we want to create a murti, then create this one. According to this slok in Bhagavad, Sakridayadanga Pratimantarahita Manomai Bhagavati Dadau Gatim Manomai Bhagavatim Dadau Gatim Manomai. The people who have attained God will tell you the best form, and this is Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto, 12th chapter, 39 verses, saying the preferred form of God for a person who wants to practice a different level, a higher level of devotion, a person who wants to do manas puja, mental worship, which is the preferred way to worship, where you can chant God's name in your mind, but you want to have a murti as well as manomai, that murti that is made of the mind. So this is how simple it is to teach our children. If we're getting pushback from our children as to they don't want to do all the things we're doing, they're busy or we're busy and we're not able to worship. So we understand that Sukdev is saying that manomai, make a murti of the mind and contemplate upon it. So what's the best time? These are questions we will have. The child will ask you, okay, I know, Mom, that you wake early in the morning and you take a shower and you wear a specific set of clothing and you have to face a particular direction and it has to be, you have to get all these things. So if I'm going to do mental worship, what time do I have to do it? Hari Bhakta Vilas helps us to understand or answers that question. Na desa niyamam tasmin, na kala niyamas tatha, na desha niyamas tasmin. Desh means place. There is no place. According to Raganuga Bhakti, na kala niyamas tatha. Kal means time. There is no place and there is no time that is specific for worship to God. This is Hari Bhakt Vilas, chapter 11, verse 408. No restrictions when it comes to doing bhakti of time and place. Because you remember Bhagavad Gita, we discussed this. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. What is Sri Krishna saying to Arjun? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Arjun, at all places and at all times, the only requirement you have, remember me, Arjun, and do your duty. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Remember me. That is the only requirement. And do your duty. Okay? So how can we go about doing that? Remember me and do your duty? We're so busy, we don't remember Bhagavan for 5 seconds in the day. We're too busy. We have work, then we come home, we have the children, we have laundry, we have weekends, we mean well, we want to, take 2 hours off or an hour off for our sadhana, but we're busy. God knows that we're busy, okay? So we're talking about spirituality, bhakti, for the young or the busy. So here's what you do. Here's a little trick you can use. When you're at work, set your watch, right? Everybody's got a smart watch these days. If even you don't, your regular watch to beep at the top of the hour, okay? It's 9 o'clock, so set your watch to beep. Why are you doing that? The mental plan is that when my watch beeps, I will very quietly by myself for 5 seconds think of Bhagavan, think of God, whatever form of God you prefer. And you'll find something to say to God. You can just say, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Bhagavan. Oh God, I love you so much. I love you, God. Whatever comes to your mind. Thank you for all you've been doing for me. Oh, thank you for remembering. Just come up with something. Focus the mind on God for 5 seconds. That will be 5 seconds more than you would have done the last hour, maybe for the whole last day. And the next hour, let it beep again. Go from 5 seconds to 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Work your way up to trying to remember God 1% of the time that you have in a day. Is that asking too much? 1%? If you're able to remember God for 1%, you know, many, many years ago, my chacha from Canada, originally from Lenora, told me about one day he asked me a question. We were alone and said, do you know how many minutes there are in a day? And I had no idea. So he told me 440 minutes. I said, okay, good information, thank you. He goes like, no. What do you do with those 440 minutes? So I'm looking at him like, what kind of infringement of my privacy is this? What do you want to know, you know, what I do with this 1,440 minutes? But I remember those numbers. It's 1,440 minutes a day, and what do we do with them? So now if I tell you that if you invest 1 minute, 1% of those 1,440 minutes, this will be less than 15 minutes for a whole 24 hours. That if you do that, you'll start seeing miracles happening in your lives. Remembering God for 15 minutes a day. I don't mean doing actions, right? Listen carefully. Oh, you know, Sat, I do a whole lot more than that. I don't see any miracles. Yes, you do. But where is the mind when you do it? Om Jai Jagadish Hare. We all pray like that. We all do arti. We all do it out of the love for God from our heart. But the requirement is mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoha. That the mind alone will determine. The mind alone, this is Brahma Bindu Upanishad, verse 2. Mana eva means only. Only the mind will determine karanam bandha mokshayo, if we become free, if we enjoy freedom in life, or bandha, mokshayo. Mokshayo means freedom, bandha means bondage, or if we live struggling, the mind alone. So when we do these religious activities, they're excellent. We have to start there. We cannot start at the top. When you go to school, nobody goes to university first. However, we must work our way up. Try to remember God 5 seconds every afternoon, then 10 seconds. If you do 30 seconds a day, that's 30 seconds an hour, 24, how many? That's 14 minutes. That's around 14 minutes. If you get up to 30 seconds an hour, and no one has to see you. When you're at work, you don't even have to close your eyes. You don't have to say anything. Those are not the requirements. Listen carefully. This is a recipe for your children, all of us, to become more spiritual. And there are tremendous benefits to be had if we do this. 30 seconds. Don't even close your eyes if you have people next to you to ask you, what are you doing? Are you sleeping? Sleeping on the job? If you can close your eyes, then go ahead. Just take 5 seconds off and remember God. Remember His Leelas. Remember what He looks like. Say thank you, God. So work your way up to 1%, and I guarantee you that you'll start seeing miracles in your life. I want to leave with you a small an example of the difference that 1% change can make in your life. We'll do an example that actually, something that actually happened, and then we'll move on quoting another scripture before we close. This story has to do with professional cycling in Great Britain, right? Cycling in Britain had endured nearly 100 years of the way history puts it is mediocrity, 100 years of mediocrity. Since 1908, British riders had won just a single gold medal at the Olympic Games. One gold medal in almost 100 years. Cyclists, and in cycling's biggest race, which is called the Tour de France, in 110 years, it was already happening for 110 years, no British cyclist had won a Tour de France. It was so bad for cyclists in Britain that top manufacturers in Europe didn't want to sell their bikes to them because they were too afraid that, you know, if someone else, another professional, sees a Brit riding their bicycles, you know, they may lose sales. They don't want to see, you know, these people who can't win anything using their gear. However, that changed one day in 2003 when they hired a gentleman by the name of Dave Brailsford. Dave Brailsford was the new performance director. And he had the reason why they hired him is because he had a strategy that he referred to as the aggregation of marginal gains, right? That was Brailsford's strategy. Basically, this was a philosophy of searching for tiny margins of improvement in everything you do. Small margins of improvement, nothing drastic, in everything you do in order to make a change, to effect a change. So the whole principle was that, you know, if you broke down everything one knows regarding riding a bike or racing bike, and then you improve that by 1%, you'll see a significant increase when you put all those little changes together. So Brailsford started making very, very small adjustments. Just to name a few, started redesigning the bike seats to make them more comfortable for the rider. They asked the riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding. They had their outdoor riders switch to indoor racing suits, which proved to be lighter and more aerodynamic. Little changes. But they didn't stop there. They tested different types of even massage gels to see which one led to the fastest muscle recovery from the people who were riding. They actually went to the extent of hiring a surgeon to teach each rider the best way to wash their hands to reduce the chances of catching a cold. That's something that is familiar to us now with the pandemic, right? They went on to paint the inside of the truck white that transports these bicycles. Why? Because painting the truck inside white will help them to spot little bits of dust that would negatively affect the performance of, you know, finely tuned bikes. Just to name a few, Brailsford implemented hundreds of changes, all little changes, nothing more than 1% in each activity. But the improvements accumulated. The results came faster than anyone could have imagined. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. There they won an astounding 60% of the gold medals available. Remember, they didn't win anything for so long and so many Olympic Games. But not only that, 4 years later, when the Olympic Games came to London, the Brits set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. That same year, a gentleman by the name of Bradley Higgins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. The very next year, his teammate, a guy by the name of Chris Froome, he won the race, and he would go on to win the Tour de France in 2015, 16, and 17. The British team won 5 Tour de France victories in 6 years. And during the 10-year span from 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 world championships and 66 Olympic and Paralympic gold medals. That record is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. How? By making 1% changes, 1% change at a time. So what we're trying to do here with our spirituality, we're trying to get to remembering God, because we know the benefits of 1%. We know that if we use 5 seconds and then 10, then go up to 30 seconds an hour, which will cost no one nothing, that we can start seeing miracles in our lives by making 1% change. So, because Bhagavan is saying, remember we talked about before that there's no time and there's no place. So essentially Bhagavan is saying that remember me while you do your duties. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. This is what he said to Arjun. Just remember me, Arjun, and go ahead. Do your work. This is how we'll do that. So, to help us to further understand how we'll be able to do this, how can we improve in just thinking? There's one more requirement. We'll look at that requirement before we finish today. Bhagavad Mahapuran helps us to understand what that requirement is. Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Gopi Jana Jivana, Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Gopi Jana Jivana, Radha Ramana. Shravanam Kirtanam Dhyanam Hare Bhuta Karmana Janma Karma Gunanam Cha Tadarte Kila Cheshtimam Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Gopi Jana Jivana, Radha Ramana, O Gopi Jana Jivana, Radha Ramana, Gopi Jana Jivana, Radha Ramana. This again is Bhagavad Mahapuran. This is the 11th canto, the 3rd chapter, 27th verse. Bhagavad Mahapuran says, Shravanam Kirtanam Dhyanam. We talked about these words. Shravanam means to hear, Kirtanam means to chant, Dhyanam means to remember, that one should hear, glorify and meditate upon God. But when do we do that? We do that, at different times. But how about the fact that we don't have any time in our lives? We're very busy. Some people have 2 jobs. Some people are, very established business people. They spend a lot of time at work and things like that. So what will happen to those people, especially if you're working over the weekend, for example, you have left Sunday to do your worship, and all of a sudden you have to work on Sundays. This verse tells us, how do we take that or those activities that we do and make them into worship? This verse tells us that Sri Krishna says here in Bhagavad Mahapuran that all the things we do on a daily basis, I don't want to start mentioning the names here, in very great detail, but essentially what the verse means, whatever one finds pleasing, whatever you find pleasing. Firstly, one should offer all their performances, all your activities that are done during the day, everything that you perform, everything that you do should be done as an offering to me. This is essentially what the verse says. You can check it out. I gave you the where it's from, right? This verse is from Bhagavad Mahapuran, the 11th canto. So we can look at that whenever we want, chapter canto 11, 3rd chapter, 27, 28 verses. Now, what the verse is saying is that all the activities that you perform during the day, for whatever reason, whether this is business, whether it's pleasure, whatever it is, offer them all to me. Now, what changes here? Just the mindset. We've been doing this all this time. But the verse goes beyond that. Priyam, Daran means a wife, a spouse. Sutan, sons. Grihan, home. Pranan, vital air. Everything that you have and enjoy should be given to me as an offering. Family as well, my wife, my husband, my children. Yes, this is what Bhagavan is saying. What we do to make this a little bit clearer is that if you're working to maintain the family, you make that as an offering to God. That, my dear Lord, O Krishna, O Shivji, O Durga Mai, you have given me these children. You have given me a family. You have given me a house because of your grace. Now today I have the responsibility to take care of my family. The wife and the husband, they all say the same thing. Everybody works. That I have to go to work. I don't have too much time to do all my sadhanas I would like to do in front of my altar or sit in meditation for hours. But thank God for your children, your spouse, and your house, and offer it all to Him. Not physically. You don't have to sign anything over or tell the Swamiji or the Pandit that, I've given this to God. Some guy might claim to be God and come, he'll want it. In your mind, offer even your duties that you do towards family, wife and children, towards community, towards the mandir, the charity that you give. Offer it all to Bhagavan. Bhagavad Gita helps us to understand. This is a very popular verse, chapter 9, verse 27. Yat karoshi yarasnasi yajur hoshi dadasi yat. Bhagavan says there in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as an oblation to the sacred fire, whatever you bestow as a gift, this means charity. Whatever austerities you perform, O Arjun, offer them all to me. So with those small steps as a system, my dear souls, my dear friends, if we use that and start a system, a mental system, then you'll develop stronger and stronger love for God on a daily basis. And you'll reach your goal. But we have to have a system. And the system is that we try to remember God starting with 5 seconds, and then we go up to 30 seconds if we can, and do more if you can. And the activities that you do during the day, instead of just seeing it as something that you do for the family and for community, you will get rewards for those, but it'll be short-term material rewards. We want to do the same thing and attain God's grace, long-term divine merits we want. And by offering those activities to Bhagavan, using that system, we'll be able to attain that goal. You'll reach your goal. Undoubtedly, there's a beautiful quote from a gentleman named Scott Adams. He says that goals are about the results you want to achieve. However, systems are the processes that lead to those results. So just don't only have a goal and don't have any system to accomplish that goal. That is wishful thinking. Goals without a system. You want to wake up early? You want to wake, I'm going to wake, 5 o'clock from tomorrow morning. It's not going to happen. You need to change, 2 hours before, an hour before. You need to come off your iPad or your screen, whatever you use, stop watching TV. You need to go to bed earlier. You need to do the things that are going to help you to compensate for that hour of sleep. You need to have a system. Going to bed the same time, doing all the same things you've been doing and planning to wake up 1 hour early, it's not going to happen. Why? Because you have no system. So little bits at a time. Start with 5 seconds and you'll experience a shift in mindset. You'll experience a shift in consciousness. And your mind will be absorbed in God while doing your material duties. You'll become like the person fetching the goblet. Remember, we'll close here, but if you go to India, for those of you who've gone or watched movies, you'll see the ladies in the countryside, they're fetching a goblet, ghada, a earthen pot, a big one, they're fetching water from the well, and they're going home, and sometimes they walk for miles. They're walking for miles, and they have friends next to them. They're turning their heads to this side, to the other side, and sometimes they stop to talk to a neighbor, and they're having a full-fledged conversation. They're turning backwards, all kinds of things they're doing, and the goblet doesn't fall. Why? Because they're doing all their activities, but as we say in Guyana, the back of their head, in their subconscious, the goblet on top of their head, they're always cognizant of that. They're always aware of that. They know it's there. They're doing the things to ensure it stays there and it doesn't fall. But they do all their other duties, walking, talking, turning their heads, etc. So this is the mindset to which we have to get. While we're doing all our duties, but right there, in our brain, in our consciousness, in our mind, we know that God is there watching us and we're doing this for Him. If we get to that point to do our duties, we'll eventually develop love for God and we'll attain His grace. Why did I say love? Because Ramayana helps us to understand that Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Premate Pragata Hoi Mai Jana. Premate Pragata, God is revealed in the mind of that person who loves Him. How do we develop love? We wake up one morning and say, today we'll start loving God. That's not going to happen. Start thinking of God 5 seconds at a time. And when you do that, you'll develop love for Him because you'll appreciate all the things He's doing in your life, giving you the chance to breathe, etc. So wholehearted. Ramayana tells us, Manakram Bachana Chori Chaturai. Wholehearted, dedicated, selfless devotion with feelings of love ensures God's grace. God says this. So these are the unparalleled benefits that we can get. Just before I close, I just want to close, I thought of one more example that I want to share with you. I'll share it quickly because the question can be asked, if we perform this bhakti that you're talking about, would I get the same benefits? Because I live in this world, I need to, strength to work and the things that we need to maintain our family. So there's a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Mahapurana that says, Yata karma biratapasa jnana vairagyata sayat yogena dana dharmena seyo bhiritarairapi. Bhagavan says here in Bhagavad Mahapurana, 11th canto, 20th chapter, 32nd and 33rd verse. Bhagavan says that which is obtained by fruitive actions, all the things that we do, thinking that if we do this and if we do that, we'll attain God's grace, we'll get His blessings, right? We see the need to do certain things in religion if we want to attain something. We all grew up like that, and I can understand that. We all still do that. This verse is saying everything that can be achieved by fruitive actions, everything that can be achieved by penance, everything that can be achieved by knowledge, by detachment, by yoga, and by charity. We give charity sometimes. Charity is supposed to be given in a particular way. That's a different topic, rather. Excuse me. But the rewards that we will get if we give charity, thinking that in giving that we receive, even in charity, religious duties, and other means of perfecting life, all these things are easily achievable through loving service unto God. That is what that verse means. So if a devotee desires, promotion to heaven, this verse also tells us. If you want liberation, moksha, if you want residence in my abode, a devotee easily attains all of that according to that verse. So the question you'll have in your mind now, really? We can attain all those things just by doing those little things you talked about, practicing bhakti?
Yes, you can. We'll close with this doha. The question you'll have, is there any proof to what you're saying? And so I will take a doha from Ramayana to see the proof, and then we shall close. Kagabosунde manguval, Kagabosунde manguval, Ati prasanna mohijan, ho Rama, Ati prasanna mohijan. Animadik siddhi aparanidhi, Animadik siddhi aparanidhi, मोक्ष सकल सुख खान, सियावर रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम. If we only do bhakti, we can get all those things. Is there any proof? Bhagavan Sri Ram himself is talking to Kagabosунde, and he's telling Kagabosунde that I am extremely pleased with you today. Kagabosунde is a devotee. Ati prasanna mohijan, that Kagabosунde, today I'm very pleased with you. That manguvar, Kagabosунde, manguvar, ask me for anything. Whatever you want, ask me for. This is Sri Ram telling a devotee. Whether you want animadik siddhi aparanidhi, anything you want, you can even want siddhis. The 8 Mahasiddhis, you know what that is? You know, like Hanumanji, Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi. Hanumanji has Ashta Siddhi. These are psychic powers. Sri Ram is telling a devotee, ask me for anything. If you want these Mahasiddhis, I'll give them to, Anima, Mahima, Garima, etc. There are 8 of them. The ability to reduce your size to the size of an atom, the ability to grow bigger than a mountain, Garima, you can become heavier than the heaviest mountain, etc. Or if you want pleasures of like Kuber, Kuber is the lord of wealth in Swarg. You want treasures like Kuber, I'll give you that too. Inexhaustible treasures. Or if you want liberation, whatever you want, Kagabosунde, ask me, I'm ready to give it to you. Now I'm very satisfied with the devotion you've performed. I will give them to you. Now, as a devotee, what happens? We have the world. The world is our oyster. But just for information's sake, Kagabosунde, because he was such an elevated devotee, he knew the things that were temporary and he knew the things that were permanent. At that stage in his life, he said, Bhagavan, just give me Abirala Bhakti Vishuddha ki, Abirala Bhakti Vishuddhatau, Shuni Purana Jehi Gava, Jehi Khojat Yogi Shamuni, Prabhu Prasad Koi Pav. At that point in time, Kagabosунde, he asked for bhakti. So my dear friends, that is evidence that with our bhakti, we can attain all the things that you ever wanted to attain. But we will know what is the greater importance. We will know what we need to do to attain Bhagavan. So this is not only a recipe for success over this pandemic. We all like to find some kind of recipe. This is a recipe for the eternal pandemic of life, the eternal pandemic of this world. There's always something going on. Every time we came as a human being, we faced these problems. And this is not the only one we'll face. We faced them in the past and we'll continue to face them in the future. So what do? Every time there's a pandemic, we run to Bhagavan and do sadhana? That is bribery. Because blessings, my friends, they're not asked for. Blessings are earned. And so when we do bhakti, we're earning our blessings. If you have a house and after 15 or 20 years that the roof will start leaking, what do? You wait until it starts to leak, then you say, okay, now let me start saving some money, I have to change the roof. You don't do that, right? Nobody does that. They put a little bit away for a rainy day. So when the roof starts leaking, they have something in their account.
In a similar manner, we have to start making deposits into our spiritual bank accounts. We have to build a portfolio that is pregnant with positive preservation. And by that I mean we make deposits into our spiritual bank accounts by implementing these very minute steps in our lives. So that our withdrawals, when it's time to make withdrawals in the time of need, like in a pandemic or other disasters, our withdrawals will come in the form of God's protection. You know, finding these disasters will come finding us brimful in confidence and perpetual peace in our mind, because we've been depositing in our spiritual bank account for so long. So if you follow this model, then if you follow this recommendation, Bhagavan says, if you remember, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 31, Bhagavad Gita says, if you do these things, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, my devotees will never perish. These are God's words, Sri Krishna himself. My devotees will never perish. Verse 31, chapter 9. So, these are the few things you want to remember. Mrityu Sansara Sagarat. That if we do these things, firstly, we will be able to stop the cycle of birth and death, if that is something we desire, and that everything can be achieved, or anything that can be achieved by religious activities and pious activities can be achieved through practicing bhakti. That this is a recipe for the busy and the less religious people. That we should set our watch to remember Bhagavan 5 seconds every hour and work your way up to possibly 30 seconds. And when you start remembering God for that kind of time every day, miracles will undoubtedly happen in your lives. So let's put the wheels in motion today. As Jim Clare says here in part, that your outcomes, if you want that outcome, he says that our outcomes are a lagging measure of our habits. Right? This is how it says that your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. That you get what you repeat. Similarly, your insufficient and inconsistent peace and fulfillment are a lagging measure of your spiritual habits. So let's put our spiritual habits in play. My dear friends, this small bhajan we will sing will help us to understand that if we do our bhakti and do it sincerely, then we'll be able to attain God's grace. We close with a small bhajan. Excuse me, I just have to find my bhajan here. Thank you. प्रेम की अगन हो, भक्ति सघन हो, मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु मिल जाएंगे. That ignite the fire of love. प्रेम की अगन, अगन means fire. भक्ति सघन हो. True intense devotion, and what will मन में लगन? Remember man. Your devotion has to be done through the mind. That's the most powerful way to worship. Mind. That's why we do meditation. It's worship through the mind. Man mein lagan ho to, if we do that, then what happens? Prabhu mil jayenge. Mil jayenge means to achieve, to attain, to meet with, to mix with Prabhuji, with Bhagavanji. Prem ki agan ho, bhakti saghan ho,
मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे। प्रेम की अगन हो, भक्ति सगन हो, मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे। हृदय में भाव हो, अनुनय की छाव हो, हृदय में भाव हो, अनुनय की छाव हो, आराधन का गाव हो तो मन खिल जाएंगे, मन खिल जाएंगे, मन खिल जाएंगे, मन खिल जाएंगे। प्रेम की अगन हो, भक्ति सगन हो, मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे। चरणों की छाह हो, भक्ति प्रवाह हो, चरणों की छाह हो, भक्ति प्रवाह हो, पूजा की राह हो तो प्रभु हर्षाएंगे, प्रभु हर्षाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे। प्रेम की अगन हो, भक्ति सगन हो, मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे, प्रभु मिल जाएंगे। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Devotees of Bhagavan, before we do our meditation today, I just want to, I'm very honored to acknowledge the presence of so many very learned Pandits that are with us this morning. But firstly, I heard that my Chacha from England is watching. I think this is his first time, I'm not sure. My Chacha is my dad. We only call him Chacha, my dad's older brother. So, Dad, thank you for tuning in, you and Mom. I'm from England. It's certainly my honor. I remember that for your 60th birthday, I was a very, very young Pandit, just a few years, and you took me to England to do your puja. That was in the 90s. That was a great honor, and it's still a greater honor to have you on today. To my Mamu, very learned as well, Pandit Hari Prasad, watching from California. Mamu, thank you for being on and always giving your input for what we're doing here. I also want to acknowledge a veteran priest, Pandit Hardwarji, Pandit Chandraban Hardwar. This is the father-in-law of my brother, but a teacher and someone who influences us on a daily basis. So that, thank you for coming on, and your son, Dr. Lakshman Hardwar, who's also a scholar in Hinduism. Dr. Ji, it's great to have you on. To all my other relatives, to Pandit Nishal Mizir watching from Guyana, number 11, Pandit Tulsi Ji, Tulsi Prasad from Blenheim Mandir, Pandit Amit Parisar from 72 Mandir Radha, all the other Pandits. If I miss any of you, I'm sorry, but it is a great honor for me to have you, on with us, and please do join us whenever you can. We'll close here, being grateful for all my relatives from other countries as well. We usually close with a meditation. We'll do a small meditation. I know we always try to finish before 1. I think we still have a few minutes to perform our meditation.
So, while I just slurp my tea, forgive me, we'll now go into our meditation. Usually, we try to sit in a comfortable position. We close our eyes, we keep the back straight, we keep the neck straight. We try to take a few deep breaths. So if you can start taking a few deep breaths, breathe in all the way to the top of the breath, up to the count 4 if you can, or even 6. Hold it, then exhale to the count 4. Let's do that one more time. We're trying to take less breaths. We're trying to slow down the heart rate. You're trying to make the body more comfortable. Breathe in, up to 4. Hold it. Exhale. Let's do that just one more time. Let's inhale all the way to 4. Let's exhale. When you can, keep the eyes closed, please. And we'll do a small meditation here. Just for the purposes of our meditation, Bhagavan reminds us in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kammano Buddhirevacha, that all the things you see around you, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu, fire, water, earth, air, and space, they're all mine. They all belong to me. This is my apara, my para-prakriti. This is my lower energy. So these things belong to Bhagavan. So whenever you see these, know that these are an expansion of God, and not something that God has only created and left here, and He's living in heaven. It's like a spider in the web. There's no web without the spider, but a web is not the spider. But neither is the web disconnected from the spider. The web is an expansion of the spider. In the same way, these elements are an extension of Bhagavan. Chiti Jalapavak Gagan Samira. So now, for those of us who have gone to the Ganga, it might be easier if you haven't. And maybe just take a quick peek at the screen. I think we have put up a video there with the Ganga flowing. Just to have an idea what it looks like. The Ganga is crystal clear if you've gone to Rishikesh or Haridwar. So in your imagination, see the Ganga flowing very brilliantly, the water gushing. It's rumbling from the Himalaya, from Gangotri, the mouth of the Ganga. Remember, the Ganga is initiated from the toenail of Bhagavan into the Kamandal of Brahmaji, was brought on earth by the tapasya of Bhagirath, onto the Jata of Bhagavan Shankar, and then on earth as Ganga. Till today, the Ganga emanates and originates from Gangotri, where Shankar Bhagavan resides, and flows all the way into the Bay of Bengal, where it gives life and sustenance to over 500 million people. Imagine that Ganga flowing. Enjoy the peace of the sound, of the vision of the Ganga. And as devotees, when we go to the Ganga, we make a little offering. That offering, more times than not, is in the form of a little flame, a little fire. And so imagine that you've been given a diya to do arti to the Ganga, and you're doing arti, you're standing in Rishikesh, and you're passing this fire in your hands, doing arti in the Ganga. And then you release your offering into the Ganga as you ask Bhagavan, Ganga Mai, to take away anything that is a disruption to your life. You keep your eyes on that flame. If you look carefully in that flame, keep your eyes closed in your imagination, you'll see that there's an outer flame and there's an inner flame. Look at that point above the inner flame. There's a little gap above the inner flame. In your imagination, take your eyes away from the entire flame and focus it on that inner flame, that gap between the inner and the outer flame. There are many people around us singing and chanting. The Ganga represents the water that we're made of, God's energy. The diya consists of all the other things that God says that belongs to Him. The earth, an earthen diya. It needs the wind, it needs the air to keep lit. There's a fire there. It takes up space, that diya. So all the elements are right there as you focus the mind that diya. How beautifully it's flickering. All these things that we see around us, the water and all the other elements, all the people, in our spiritual lives, these represent the distractions that we'll face in life. Distractions meaning these are the things that the mind is locked onto. So this time, we'll take our gaze upwards. Let's stop looking at the diya, let's stop looking at the Ganga and the people, and look upwards, like we're looking into space. As you look into space, you'll see the clouds, and the clouds are moving and blocking you from seeing the vastness of space. These clouds represent your thoughts. We have space, we have people and distractions on earth, and now we have clouds that represent our thoughts. These are also distractions in our lives, in our meditation. So focus on these clouds and try to see between the clouds. Try to see beyond the clouds. There is space there. Like when we're traveling in an aeroplane above the clouds, there's nothing there. It's only vastness. Let's work our way beyond the clouds as we sit in a Pushpak Viman, in Bhagwan's vehicle that is operated by the mind. It cannot fall. Feel safe. As we move beyond the clouds and we're very high, there we should try to become one with the space, because there's space around you, there's space inside you, and that makes you one with the space. Everything becomes very relaxed and very open. There's no stress, there's no tension. They all dissolve, because now, for miles and miles and miles, all you can see is space. It's not like outer space where it's dark and black, but it's beyond the clouds where there's a vast openness. And you're present in that space. Don't get distracted. Get a feeling that your mind is like that space, free and open, just like the way you see space. There's nothing there. but you know that even that space is Bhagavan. You can see him in the distance. You can see a drawing of your favorite form of God in that space. There's nothing else. There are no thoughts like the clouds. There are no distractions like the water and the fire and the people. It's just you, your mind, and Bhagavan. This is where we want to keep the mind in our meditation. Mind should be locked and focused on God. And when you do so, then all the things we discussed in Bhakti, the world will become your oyster, because the mind is locked in God. Enjoy the peace. Enjoy the vastness. Enjoy the lightness that you feel. Enjoy your freedom from distraction. Enjoy your unity with Bhagavan. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. I just want to say happy birthday to a few people before we close today. I know that there are a few children from the Mandir in West Palm Beach. Our young brother Chris, more a son to us. Chris is an integral part of Lakshmi Mandir, works very hard for Lakshmi Mandir. A very responsible young man, the son of Sister Gayatri. So Chris, happy birthday to you. May Bhagavan bless you. May you continue to be inspired every day of your life. Live a long and a healthy life. And remember, humanity is an integral part of your makeup. Do continue doing what you're doing for humanity. God bless you. Nishani is also celebrating her birthday. This is the daughter of Lalman Bhaiya, also from West Palm Beach, originally from Lenore in Guyana. And this is a very cooperative and very loving child at Lakshmi Mandir, encouraged by their parents. They are in the Kirtan group and they help Lakshmi Mandir as well. To you and your sister Nishani, all the best to both of you, and to you and your birthday, happy birthday. May Bhagavan bless you. May every day of your life be peaceful and happy and progressive. I also want to say happy birthday. I think 2 weeks ago was my sister's birthday. You know, my eldest sister, we call her Radha Didi. I forgot last week because, like, when my mom was here, we were just taking her for granted, all of us. So Radha Didi, happy birthday to you. As long as you're around, we don't call you or anything, but we know that you're there, so we pray that Bhagavan keep you safe, you and the boys, grant you long life, good health, and just continue being there for all of us. We look forward to seeing you soon, and Bhagavan bless you. And lastly, I just want to wish my Bhaijan, Hashim Bhaiya, celebrating his birthday. Bhaiya, Assalamu Alaikum. It's our Bhaijan from West Palm Beach, a practicing Muslim, who is extremely helpful in the community. Not accepting the mandir. Hashim Bhaiya is very helpful at the mandir as well. And so, in my opinion, he's a good representative of spirituality. Staunch Muslim, but does everything he can for humanity, regardless of your religion. I know this firsthand because of the cooperation he gives to Lakshmi Mandir. He's there, he contributes financially and otherwise. So Bhaiya, happy birthday to you, Adab. May Bhagavan bless you. Well, God bless you. Well, you don't say Bhagavan, it's all the same, but Khura khair kare. Allah khair kare. May God bless you. Live a long life. Be happy. And continue doing the great work. So happy birthday to everyone. If you might be celebrating your birthday this week, happy birthday to you. You can send us a message. We'll wish you happy birthday. To everyone who has joined us, thank you so very much. And I hope that you have some refuel for the week. We'll join in closing prayers as we chant Bar Bar Baramang Ho Harsha Dev Sri Rang. For those of us who know, this is also a prayer. This is a doha from Uttarakhand. In Ramcharitamanas, we say this every week. We ask for bhakti in this prayer, but we may not fully understand. This is when Bhagavan Sri Ram came back from exile and he was coronated as a king. He had many, many visitors. One of such visitor of great esteem was Bhagavan Shankar. Shivji was there at the coronation of Bhagavan Sri Ram. When Sri Ram asked of Shivji, thank you for coming, Bhaiya. What can I do for you? What can I give you for coming to this coronation? Bhagavan Shankar, all he said was, Bar Bar Baramango Harshadeha Sri Rang. He addressed Bhagavan Sri Ram as Sri Rang, as the husband, as the spouse of Lakshmi. And he said, Bar Bar Baramango, over and over, the only thing I ask of you, dear Lord, Parasaroj Anupayani. Parasaroj means to your lotus feet. Anupayani Bhakti. The same thing that Kagbhusundi asked for. Anupayani Bhakti. Oh, dear Lord, O Bhagwan, O Sri Ram, bless me always with selfless, exclusive Bhakti. In the same way that Bhagavan Shankar prayed to Bhagavan Sri Ram, in the same way, let us ask Bhagavan for Bhakti that brings everything else into our lives. Bar Bar Baramang Ho Harshadeh Shri Rang Parisaro Jayan Pavani Bhakti Sada Satsang Bhakti Sada Satsangasya Pati Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai Pavan Sut Hanuman Ki Jai Syabar Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu Sab Santan Ki Jai Jai Sitaram Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Raseshwari Radha Rani Ki Jai. Until we meet again, may Bhagavan keep you safe. Do take all precautions. The pandemic is not over by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse here in Florida. So please do take all precautions, not only physical and medicinal precautions. Take mental precautions. Do your bhakti, do your meditation, for this will make the resistance stronger. Until I meet you again in satsang, may Bhagavan keep you safe. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai.